Yo, what up, what up, what up, man? Thank you for joining for another episode of CC Smack. This is episode number 236, and it's a little different. It's a little different right now. So I don't have my guy Josh with me. And hey, for all the listeners out there, his at is on all the social media platforms is at Josh D Lifestyle, JOSHD Lifestyle. So make sure y'all hit him up and ask me like, yo, where you at, bro? Where you at? One of the things that we promised, both me and Josh, is that we're going to be more consistent with dropping podcast episodes. And bro, I be traveling a lot. He be traveling a lot. And sometimes our paths don't really cross. And it's like, hey, look, I got to get something out to the people before Thanksgiving. So that's what we're planning to do today. Episode 236. Thank you for joining. I'm live from downtown Baltimore. You can see the background. It's a rainy day out here. It's nighttime, but I said, hey, I got to make sure I hit y'all with the latest episode of CC Smack. So, hey, this is new for me, so give me a little bit of grace. Typically, what we do is we always give thanks to God to start off every episode. So I just want to thank God for allowing me to be here. And then we also just recap how we've been doing since the last time that you heard from us. So I actually just came back from Nigeria not too long ago. Shout out to my good friend Adiola and her now husband, Asuche. I mean, I went out to Nigeria to witness the wedding, and it was beautiful, dog. It was beautiful. It's always a great time going out to Nigeria. Plus, I got some business out there. I have a tourism company that I'm building up out there. So always a good time to travel to my home country. Had a good time. What else has been up? Oh, the latest entry into the Wash Chronicles. Yo, I'm too tired to cheat, bro. I'm too tired to cheat. Every time I go out to Nigeria, it's some little fine thing trying to get me to, do things that I'm not supposed to be doing. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been weak in the knees before, but bro, I'm washed right now. So I was out in Nigeria, and because of my tourism company, I was working with somebody who works at a gallery. So I kept their contact. So I'm trying to, just keep up with them, keep up the rapport. So when I actually need them, it's not just, like me just hitting them up and not really having that relationship. So hit up this lady, and she tells me she no longer works at the gallery, and the currency in Nigeria has depreciated so much. So I just asked her, I was like, yo, how much was he making? She was a young lady. She was probably like 20 or something like that. And she said she was making about 50K a month, 50K a month. 50K a month in Naira, which is the Nigerian currency. That's about what, $50? $50 a month. So I told her, I was like, yo, I got a CC Smack podcast. If you can just post for me, hey, we can go ahead and knock this out the park. I can go and get you that $50 a month so I can replenish your income. Plus, you're not going to be really doing as much work as you was at the gallery. Bro, this girl said, no, I want more. So I'm like, all right, hey, I'm a businessman. We can negotiate, right? We can stand on business. So I told her, I said, yeah, so what you want? And bro, when I tell you she laid that thing out for me, like I'm talking about, she spread it like peanut butter and jelly, just spread it out for me. She like, yo, look, I want more. I want to, get to know you more. I want a relationship. She was telling me all these things, just crazy things, And I looked at this girl and I said, look, man, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this, And I was very proud of myself, So just a little update on the Wash Chronicles, because back when I was outside, hey, your boy would have tore that thing up. But I do want to announce something on the podcast, man. I want to announce that I'm taking. I got a girl now, And this is big for me. I always share things with the podcast, my family and whatnot. As you may know, probably a little bit of, it's going on a year. I was engaged, I was engaged, and man, I called it off tough, it's a really, really tough part of my life. And I met somebody new shortly after. And when I met her, I was like, all right, look, we got to take this slow. I don't know where this is going to go, but you just meet somebody that makes your world that much better every time you're with them. So, you know, we had been, just dating for about 9 going on 10 months. And I know some people out there that's calculating the numbers, like he said he was a gangster. Hey, relax, man. She knows what's good. Um, but yeah, so after about like 10 months, I was looking at her and she was giving me little hints and whatnot, right? Like she would send me stuff on TikTok. She would send me these uh girlfriend proposals on TikTok, right? Now we have an age gap. I'm 33, she's 25. And it's a little tough, right? I'm a millennial. She on the cusp of that Gen Z phase. And I remember telling her, like, yo, you sending me all these hints, but baby girl, ain't no rose petals coming out when I ask to be my girl. It is what it is. I care for you. I want the best for you. Like, I want you in my life, but I'm more of like, hey, when the proposal come, yeah, we can do all the little fancy stuff. But me, hey, I'm gonna come back from work. Hey, what's up, girl? And then I mean, look, doesn't sound romantic, but we dating and whatnot. I'm just joking around. Please don't try and because she might be listening. So yeah, that's what's going on in my life. Um, but like we always do on CC Smack, this is a podcast where we aim to educate. We aim to educate our subject matter that we are really good at is business, finance, and just straight up hustling, man. And that's what we out here to do. So giving a little recap of the market, right? If you're looking at the stock market, since the last time we spoke, the stock market has actually rallied. I'd say it's been up. Uh, all the major markets have been up around like 5%. Now I'm reporting live on Tuesday night. So I think Tuesday was a down day for the markets. And when I say markets, I'm talking about the S&P 500, talking about the Dow Jones, I'm talking about the NASDAQ, but things have rallied, took a little break today, but, it's interesting to see what's going on in the market because it really shows you the perils of not having a strategy, right? Whatever you're doing in finance, you got to have a strategy because if you're just going with the news cycles and whatnot, one day the news going to tell you, hey, we're going to be in a recession. They told you that. Next day is, oh, hey, we're going to be in a soft landing. The next day is like, oh, no, we're going back to a recession. It flip-flops all the time. If you have a strategy, like, okay, let's say you're going to invest in, I don't know, defensive stocks, right? If you're going to invest in defensive stocks, just tune out the news. You can always reset. You can always reset every 3 months or something like that. Set things that are based on your preferences, right? If you're somebody that knows, like, okay, hey, I'm into the news. I want to make sure I'm focusing on that. Well, don't focus on the news daily. You might say, okay, well, hey, a couple months, I want to look at the news, see what's been going on, and then recycle or reshuffle my investments. That's up to you. But the main thing is you can't just be following the news and just changing your strategies like that because they were talking about treasury yields were going to be above like 5%. And it might touch that, but treasury yields have actually gone down since the last time that we was on this podcast, So right now, the 10-year treasury yield, which is a barometer for just interest rates in general, right? That is now at 4.418%. It briefly touched 5%, but now it's down to 4.418%. And what that means is mortgage rates have come down a little bit. Consumer rates have come down a little bit. So they track closely to this US 10-year treasury rate. In terms of crypto, shout out to my guys, shout out to the partnership. We got a nice little crypto fund going. That's been good for us this year. Crypto has been booming this year. Now, it's been a little tepid, I would say, since the last time that I was on the podcast. But I mean, crypto right now, Bitcoin is at 36,000, Ethereum's almost at about 2,000. So those are higher than where they were at to begin the year. So if you had invested in crypto this year, then you are sitting decent right now. All right, man. So what we want to talk about, episode 236. I got a little bit of a cold, so bear with me. But matter of fact, I got some news I want to share with everybody. Um, I bought a Roly. I bought a Rolex. I don't know if y'all can see that. I got my ring light shining in this camera. But I bought a Rolex. It's my first Rolex ever. Now was I shopping for a Rolex? Was I searching for a Rolex before this? Nah. I just had a really good day. I had something happen where I was just really, really excited. And I was like, you know what? Let me just check around for a Rolex. I found one. So I bought it on the gray market. Now, if you don't know what the gray market is, you can always Google that. But the gray market is basically you're buying it. You're not buying it directly from the watch maker. The gray market is it's an unauthorized watch dealer, basically, but I did get it appraised. So I'm going to get it insured. I got to get a bigger safe because once you buy these things, you want to make sure that if anything happens to them, you're secured. The reason why I wanted to talk about this on the pod because, I mean, first of all, y'all my family, right? But another thing is the conversations that take place when you do something that your peers aren't really familiar with. And let me say this. Shout out to all my friends who I told this to. I know y'all not haters. It's just sometimes when you're not used to something, it just sounds foreign, because I told a couple friends that, this is what I did, this is what I paid for it. And they was looking at me like, yo, you think that was wise? Like, why would you do that? And, you know, first thing I'm gonna say is I bought it because I really like the watch, right? It's a lot of people that will try to sell you on like, well, this is an investment and I'm gonna do it's an investment, but let's keep it real. I bought the watch because I really like the watch. I've had I got a little watch collection that I'm building up now. But I truly do like the watch, right? And I'm somebody that I'm big on like I want to pass down things to my children. Um, I'll be transparent here. Like my dad passed, and my dad was a wealthy man, but he lost a lot of his wealth. And um, you know, for whatever reasons, I didn't get nothing from my dad. So me personally, I mean, there's other stuff in the works, right? I'm not just saying, oh, you get a watch, you get a watch, you get a watch. I got no kids yet. But when I'm buying these things, I'm thinking about how long they'll last. So with the Rolex, as long as you get that joint service, a Rolex can last for a very long time. The watches that I'm buying, these are watches that are made to stand the test of time. So, first things first is I really just like watches. Second thing is, yes, it can be an investment. And, you know, I think when people think of an investment, they always think about appreciation, right? But there's also just storing value, right? I bought this Rolex for a nice amount and it might not skyrocket in price, but if I do plan to liquidate, I know that I'm going to get somewhere close to what I paid for it. So that's a good feeling. And I would say, like, when you're talking to people that haven't, you know, done certain things that you're doing, and this is not even a flex, this is just what I like. I got friends who have better cars than me. I got friends who have better houses than me, and I'm happy for them. But it's interesting because the conversation can, if you're not a strong-minded person, you gonna feel like you gonna feel put down, right? Because people don't understand this. They're like, so you bought a watch for this amount, and like, don't you think you could have invested that? You're always talking about investments and stocks and bonds, this and that. And I'm like, hey, look, I bought it because I like it. All right. There are rooms that I'm going to get into because of this watch. And some people might hear that and say, oh, you bullshitting. Look, there's a certain type of conversation that you're not going to get if you're stuck in a certain mindset, you know? But the truth about it is there are certain places you're going to go to where somebody is going to recognize you because of what you have on. It is what it is. You can say, oh, well, that's superficial. Well, hey, there are some really powerful people where, they want to hear the story, right? They want to relate. And that's one thing that I want to make sure people understand. Successful people, they get to a level where they feel lonely and they want to connect, right? They want to connect. They want to hear that, like, yo, how'd you buy your first rollie? And I can tell them, like, man, let me tell you something. This happened. I got my first win doing XYZ. And because of that, that's when I felt comfortable enough to put down this type of bread on this type of watch. So there are people who will relate to that and say, oh, you know what? Hey, I had my first win back in this day. And that's when I bought my watch. And that's how that relationship might form. And I'm outlining this, but it might not go that way. But, first and foremost, I want to say, hey, look, I like the watch. And, secondly, it's like, yeah, there are going to be some conversations I'll be privy to that I wouldn't be if I didn't have the watch. Now, is that telling the audience to go out there and buy an expensive watch? No, no, no. Cut your coat according to size. You got to cut your coat according to size. But I wanted to share that with the podcast. God is good, man. God is good. And hey, whenever Josh gets back up here, Josh is one of my biggest supporters. I remember when I told him, he was excited, So, hey, Josh, we miss you. Make sure you get back on the pod, and we're gonna talk our shit like we always do, man. So, the next topic I want to get into here, I'd like to get into credit, and I want to say, excuse me, like I said, I got a little cold. I want to say credit is not wealth. I think a lot of people mistake credit for wealth. And when I say credit, I'm not talking about like your credit score. I'm talking about when you go to a bank and you get a nice credit card and you get a deal, whatever, right? Credit can be turned into wealth, right? If you find deals that can give you a better return on investment, right? So you get a credit card, there's always going to be an interest rate that they're charging you, right? And the play is always to get a 0% interest rate for a certain period, right? There are certain credit cards that will give you a 0% rate for 6 months, 12 months. Hey, I've seen some go out to 36 months, if you want any tips, if you want a list of credit cards that are giving you 0% periods for a long time, reach out to me. Make sure you reach out to me. Now, a lot of people peddle these credit cards and they put out ebooks and they tell you how to get these credit cards, but you can get all the credit cards you want, you will go broke because you still have to pay these things back. So I don't advise anybody to take out a 0% credit card unless you're paying off debt, right? If you're paying off debt, that can give you some breathing room, right? If you have 10,000 of debt and you're paying interest on that, credit card interest can be anywhere from 10 to 20 to almost 30% because of where rates are going. If you take out another credit card that has a 0% period for a year, now you can balance transfer that 10K to this new credit card. You get a break on the interest, and all the money you're paying on that credit card can go straight to the principal. That's so clutch. So 0% credit cards are good if you're paying off debt. They're good if you have investments with a matching time horizon. What do I mean by that? You could take out a 0% credit card for 12 months, right? So you don't pay interest on the credit card for 12 months. If they allow you to take a credit advance, take a cash advance off of that credit card, let's say you take out the 10K. Well, you could put that into a CD for 12 months. That CD could give you 6%. So at the end of 12 months, you're going to say, hey, I have made off of this 10K, I have made $600, right? I made $600. And now I have to pay back the 10K. The CD matures. I take the 10K, I pay off the credit card. Now you have that money. So if you have an investment with a matching time horizon, that is a great time to go ahead and, take out that credit card. Now, lastly, and this is a risky one, if you have a dream that you're trying to furnish, if you're somebody who you're saying, yo, I want to be the biggest content creator ever. I want to be the biggest I don't know, streamer ever. I want to be the biggest Turo host ever, whatever you want to do, and you need some money to start up, hey, that might be an opportunity. Now, that investment, that business, that idea might not have the year time horizon, but you're still going to get a break for that year. So those are three instances where I believe taking out a credit card with the 0% promotional period would work for you. You know, the reason why I'm talking about this, because I opened up the Chase app. I use Chase, and they said that I was pre-approved for a Business Inc. Unlimited. So you can look it up, the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited. I like business credit cards because they separate it from your personal, so you could have however much of a balance on a credit card, it doesn't show up on your personal. Now, you want to double check with the bank or credit union that you're using, because some credit unions, sometimes they'll say, okay, I'll still report it. But typically, if you're using your EIN for your business, then it's going to be separate, right? It's not going to show up on your credit report. And the reason why you want to do that is you can keep your personal credit good. So when you meet Mrs. Right or you meet Mr. Right, and he or she says, hey, what's your credit? You don't got to go into this whole story about, well, I started a business and, I had to do this and I had to do that and my credit jack. So it's good to bifurcate the business and the personal credit. So Business Inc. Unlimited, I took the offer. They said I was pre-approved, but here's you always want to confirm. A pre-approval does not mean that they're not going to pull your credit, right? So they said I was pre-approved, and pre-approved just means that I fit a certain criteria, but they still pulled my credit, So make sure you're paying attention to those pre-approvals. Just because they say you pre-approved does not mean that, hey, they're going to process this without a hard inquiry on your credit. Are there companies or banks and intermediaries that will give you a credit card without a credit pull? Yes, there are. If you want that list, hit me up. I can do some research and get you a nice little list. Now, I will say, as the economy goes into a more tougher phase, those banks and credit unions, it's starting to get smaller, right? But yeah, so they gave me this credit card, and the cool thing about it is I have 12 months where I don't have to pay any interest on my purchases. And I got some purchases I can make in business, I definitely have the hair braiding shop that I can put some money into, maybe do a few touch-ups or something like that. And other things that I have, maybe for the podcast. I know I look a little grainy, maybe I buy a new camera, because I don't even see the waves for real. I got the waves, but I don't really see them. But yeah, I got things I could spend on in terms of business expenses. Another great feature of the Business Inc. Unlimited, and they're not paying me, right? I wish this was an ad, but this isn't an ad. This is just if you have a business and you're looking for an option for a credit card, I do think this is a great option. And I'm gonna keep it real. My credit score was like a 680, so it wasn't nothing crazy. They use Experian. It's good to know which credit bureaus that these companies are using when they evaluate you. They use Experian. So if you have a terrible TransUnion, but your experience is high, hey, go with Experian. And these things matter. I'm trying to tell you, these credit bureaus, they look at different things, right? So I can tell you from experience, my Experian is different from my TransUnion. My Experian is different from my Equifax. Three of these are the major credit bureaus. So Chase, for the Business Unlimited card, they used Experian, right? So now that I have this card, if I spend 6,000 in 3 months, which is $2,000 every month, if I want to break it down in proportion, if I spend 6,000 in 3 months, I will get $900 back. $900 back. That is awesome. I'm gonna take advantage of that offer. Like I said, I do have some things that I could spend on. So when I get that 900, I'm gonna let y'all know, because your boy gonna be shining out here. Maybe I might do a little giveaway, right? No, I'm not gonna do a giveaway. I need that 900. I got a girl now. Girls expensive. So Christmas is coming up. Oh, I got set up. I got set up. I'm just thinking about it. So earlier today, I got a message. My girl's birthday is in December, and she hit me up out the blue, and she was like, she hit me up out the blue and said, quick question. Whenever your girl hits you up and say quick question, I don't trust it. She hit me up out the blue and said, do you have anything planned on the day of my birthday? Nigga, I ain't got shit planned. I ain't gonna lie to you, baby. But I definitely, when she hit me up with that, I looked at it and I'm like, oof, okay. This is the first birthday we celebrating, we together. So that 900 that I get, yeah, I might have to spend that on something. I might have to spend that on something, you know. But yeah, credit is not wealth unless you turn it into wealth. And it takes some work. So make sure that you are not just sipping the Kool-Aid that is being sold to you out here, because I've seen a lot of people say, oh, get funding, get this, get that. You gotta have a purpose for that funding. Mm. Yeah, excuse me. The weather's changed in Baltimore, so a little bit of a cold. What's next? Well, before I even get off of the topic of credit cards, um, I think there's another reason why you might want to get a credit card, but this doesn't have anything to do with your 0% APR or whatever. If you are somebody who travels a lot, and I mean, traveling is really popular right now. I mean, I think our generation is looking at travel and we're saying, yo, we gotta go. Like we gonna take the time. We gonna put that time in, use the PTO. We gotta go and experience some stuff. Well, you might want to invest into a travel card, right? Travel cards could give you more miles when you fly, right? Travel cards could help you out if you're going on a road trip and you're gassing up the whip. They might give you more points for gas purchases. And another flex of having a good travel card is they let you get into lounges, man. When I was traveling to Nigeria, I got into a lounge, and if you haven't gotten into a lounge before, it's not a necessity, it's a luxury, right? And when you get into places of luxury, you meet different people. There's peace and quiet. I was able to get some reading done. I didn't have to wait in the airport at my gate lobby. You're more comfortable. The bathrooms are clean. Oh man, I tore that lounge bathroom up. I was having some stuff going on because every time I go back home, I eat really good. And when you eat in Nigeria, the food is different. They grow things different over there. They grow things different here. And it's not always for the best, right? They be pumping the stuff with all this crazy stuff. Nigeria, you get some nice homegrown stuff. When you talk about home cooked, yes, sir. So yeah, in the lounges, it's just better service. The Wi-Fi, you have a dedicated Wi-Fi for you. So if you want to download the movies before you get on the plane, it goes a little faster. So having a good travel card can give you access to some of these lounges. And then having a good travel card could give you access to either pre-check, TSA pre-check, or clear, or global entry. And these are things that help you get by security quicker, right? I think with clear, what did they do with clear? Yo, I used to have clear. Hey, I don't want no problems, but I used to have clear. I was one of those people where I was in a relationship. My shorty had clear, my ex shorty had clear, and once we broke up, hey, your boy thought he was good, man. I went to the airport. I'm like, yeah, I got clear. They like, yeah, we're not seeing you come up, and hey, they took me out that system straight, yo. As soon as we was done, she definitely made sure to revoke my clear pass, man. Shout out to you, man. You petty for that. But no. I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. I'm a happy man. So yeah, clear, TSA pre-check, global entry. These are things that you can get access to with a good travel card. So before I got off of any travel cards, any credit cards, I wanted to bring that up. Travel cards are really cool. That's going to be my next thing. I have a card for travel, but I actually want one with a fee, right? And y'all might be saying, why would you want one with a fee, right? So credit cards, some of them come with annual fees. If they come with an annual fee, there's a reason for it, right? So the one I'm looking at has like a $500-600 annual fee. And the reason why it has that, they reimburse you for so many different things. You know, if you lose your bags, they'll reimburse you for something. If you are, I mean, of course, you get the lounges, you get the TSA pre-check, you get the clear, you get all these different things, you know. So I've weighed my options, and it's like that fee, yeah, it's about 500-600 a year, but the value of everything I'm gonna get, yeah, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. So you know, some good travel cards, if you can afford it, right? Because you don't want to get a travel card that makes you step out of your boundary, right? Like if you are somebody who you're saying, hey, I need to save up for woo woo, I need to stash this over here. Don't force yourself to get a travel card that would then take you out of your disciplined budget, right? So some good travel cards. The Amex has a good travel card. The Chase Sapphire Reserve is a good one. I think it's the preferred. I don't know, but yeah, do your research. Hey, same thing that I said before. If you want like a nice detailed list, you could always reach out to me. I'm always helpful, man. I ain't gonna charge you for it. So yeah, reach out to me. Now, um, I'm I'm big on investments, right? So I just bought the watch, and I haven't told y'all the play that I made that made me feel so good, where I was like, yo, let me go and buy this watch, because the play is only halfway done, right? It's good news. Like I definitely had reason to celebrate, but it's not concluded yet. But I'm taking a big risk on something, taking a big risk on something. And I actually want to share what I'm taking a risk on. I'm going to take $10,000 and I'm going to put it into a stock. Shout out to my boy Mike. I was talking to Mike, and he got solar panels put into his home. And he was just telling me how, like, yo, he's saving a lot of money, and it was a large upfront expense, but you know, he sees that it's going to pay off in the long run, and he recommends it for people, you know. So I took a look into just solar panels and solar energy, and I'm like, hey, look, I think, you know, that's going to be the wave. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the timeline is for when it's going to like really pop off, but I think it's going to continue to grow on consumers. Um, Corporations are already getting into it, but I think consumers, there's still a void there. Well, now with higher interest rates and, you know, a struggling economy, yeah, consumers aren't going to be buying solar panels left and right, because it is a huge upfront cost. Shout out to Mike for helping educate me on that. But I found a stock. I found a stock that has been trash this year. It has been trash this year. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let me go ahead and show y'all what I'm talking about. Your boy found a little stock, and this is for me. You guys haven't done any research, but I just want to share because I love to share, right? So let me go ahead and show y'all the stock that I'm looking at. So this is Sunworks Inc. Sunworks is trading at 28 cents. In the last 5 years, they've reached a high of $22, $23. This was in 2021. Now, since then, oh yeah, it's been murder, she wrote, you know. But I don't think they're gonna file bankruptcy. They are having some struggles. Year to date, they started the year off at $1.56, and now they're down to 28. So I'm putting 10 bands in Sunworks. I'm putting 10 bands in Sunworks. So you know, I'm gonna see how that does. My time horizon for this is, I want to say, I'm gonna give it a good 2 years. You know, I'm not in any rush when I say I'm gonna put 10 bands in this. And the 10 bands that I'm gonna put, it's actually not new money, right? What I mean is not new money. I have money in my Roth IRA. Your Roth IRA allows you to put 66, I think it's 6,600 or 6,500 each year. So you can put that money in. It's already taxed, but your earnings on that, your earnings on any investments that you make inside your Roth IRA, they don't get taxed. So I have some money in there. And actually, this was the first year. Shout out to me. This was the first year that I had to do a backdoor IRA. And I'm gonna save a backdoor IRA for next time. Yeah, backdoor IRA sounds freaky, but we'll explain that later. But basically, there are income limitations where you can't just invest into a regular Roth IRA. So then you gotta do the backdoor. Gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, that's the play I'm getting into. I'm gonna update y'all on that. So it's at 28 cents right now. It's kind of scary, right? Because hey, 28 cents is really close to zero, right? But I think this is gonna take a turn. I'm gonna put 10 bands in it tomorrow. So I'm gonna let y'all know how that plays out. A podcast, and hey, feel free to reach out to me and ask me, like, yo, what you do with that 10K? Can I see proof? If I get enough requests, I'll post a screenshot of the investment, What else? What else? What else? Oh, random. Drake put out the deluxe, right? Drake put out the deluxe of his album. And I know we're not a music podcast per se, but I like it, man. I like it. I like it, man. He got one song on there. What's the song he got on there? He got one song on there that I sing my heart out to, man. Hey, it's the song "You Broke My Heart," and it got a chorus that go like "F my ex, F my." Hey, I can't sing, but and look, man. First of all, my ex should not still be listening to this podcast. Hey, I'm talking to you. If you still listen to this podcast, like something's wrong with you. All right. Like it's been it's been a minute, So please, I don't want to get in no trouble. And if I do get in trouble, I'm gonna blast you on the podcast. So please don't reach out to me about this. This is all jokes, of course. But yeah, he put out the deluxe. And the thing I have to say about Drake's business model is impeccable. I mean, yeah, very hardworking person, but I heard him taking shots at different people. And the thing with Drake is never going to allow you to use him as entertainment, right? He's like the prize fighter where when you call him out, he ain't never coming out. He's not showing up to the fight when you call out the fight. He's the type person, he's going to tell you, hey, I know you thought I was done, but I'm ready to throw a pebble at you. And the minute that you think he's ready to fight, he's like, yo, I'm on to the next. It's like, how can you beat that, right? Like, he's still taking shots at Pusha, but he's not going to step into that ring with Pusha T. He's not, whatever reason that he doesn't go into a back and forth, I don't know what it is, but he throws his shots and then he's gone. Like how do you beat that? He's going to the next. And when I say he's gone, he's either on tour, he's putting out an album, so he's doing things that make that beef that he was in irrelevant. So shout out to Drake. Like I said, I banged with that song, "You Broke My Heart." If y'all listen to it, let me know what y'all think about it. But I think that is it for today, man. Episode 236. It was a solo episode. Hey, let me know how I did. Like I said, I had a little cold. Got my tea here. I do want to shout out Black Friday, right? I don't know what y'all doing for Black Friday, but shout out to Niger Tourist at Niger Tourist. They had a post that was talking about the origins of Black Friday, and I want to share that with y'all. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, and this is something that we have started doing where we're posting videos. So if you're listening to the podcast and you're not seeing any of the videos, yo, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and you put Pod Bros, so put the @ symbol and then PODBROS, Pod Bros, you're gonna see CC Smack Podcast pop up. What else? Or if you just type CC Smack in YouTube, you'll see us pop up. But shout out to Niger Taurus. Make sure you go follow these guys. I was looking and they said this was the origination of Black Friday. It originated during slavery, and they had this picture that was posted on their Instagram, and I thought it was pretty telling. Negro man dick. That's sick. Pause on all that. I thought they were selling dick out here. No, it's a man that's named Dick. Sorry, that's crazy, but y'all see it. It says Negro man Dick, 55 years old. That's sick of me. But yeah, they had all these prices of different slaves. They were selling. So the highest slave on a Black Friday was a 23-year-old Negro man, $800. Well, I take that back. It was a tie between a 23-year-old Negro man and a 21-year-old Negro man. So 21 and a 23-year-old were sold for $800, and that was the sale. And hey, do with this what you want, right? If you want to boycott Black Friday sales, they're gonna be better sales anyway, right? Like Christmas sales gonna be better. It is what it is. If you want to use this as motivation, because I think sometimes when we look back at what our ancestors had to go through, it might make us go a little harder. But make sure you also check out at Niger Taurus, biggest tourist in Nigeria. Hey, this is your boy Toby. You can follow me. You can reach out to me on all platforms at Long Live TOBE. Shout out to my co-host Josh, who couldn't be here. Hey, Josh, make sure you catch up, man, because look, man, we got to keep the show going, my boy. Make sure you support the podcast. You can find our merch. You can find our episodes at the website, www.ccsmackpodcast.com. And make sure you follow us at CC Smack Podcast. Hey, episode 236. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, till next time. Peace.